Hi, this is Ruth Theresa with One Inspiring Woman, and today I'm answering a Dear Ruth Theresa question. That's right. So the question I got today was from a small client of mine, but I thought it was really interesting. So her question to me is, Dear Ruth Theresa, what do you feel when you channel a ghost? That can be really interesting, and I will say it's kind of really depending on what energy the ghost is choosing to send to me, and then how much of that am I choosing to connect to. So the energy could send me, they could send me a whole bunch of energy and I only connect to one or two pieces of it, and not all of it. One of the things that I really feel when I channel a ghost is most of the time they will tell me how they passed, and I will feel what they felt like. I don't feel it to the 100% extent that they did. I will sense it at maybe 1 or 2%. So if they had a heart attack, I can have pain in my chest, I can have pain in my arm, I can have it radiating down my arm. If they pass from an aneurysm, I can feel the blood pressure in my head getting really high, maybe an instant pop of headache, kind of like it was really hard. If they were in a car accident, I can feel that as well. So I'm kind of used to it by now. At first, I think it used to freak me out a little bit more, and now I'm kind of like, I've got this part. But I will tell you, I don't feel it to the full extent that they did. So I'm not getting a complete 100% of it. I can feel it, or I can feel the energy. I can also feel where they had stuck energy in their system. So one of the ones I would say I get a lot is we'll get pain in my abdomen, and I can tell you, depending on what organ it's attaching to, I can be like, oh, that means that they had a lot of fear in their life, or they had a lot of anger in their life, or they had a lot of resentment in their life, maybe a lot of jealousy in their life. And a lot of times their family's like, how did you know? I can tell by the way I'm feeling it in my system. Sometimes pains will come in different limbs or different joints, and I can be like, oh, this joint means this, or this limb means this, and their family members will be like, wow, they were always complaining about pain in their shoulder, and now I understand what it is and why that happened. So I can feel what they feel, I just don't feel it to the same extent. And then a lot of times it's kind of the interesting part on my side is when I am channeling a ghost for a client, sometimes the client will be sobbing like, oh my gosh, this is my mom that passed, or my dad that passed, and they're crying because they're like finally getting to hear a message from them. And it's interesting, a lot of times they'll just look at me and they're like, you're not crying. And I'm like, because I'm more connected to the ghost than I am to you. And it's not a bad thing. It's one of those, and a lot of times the ghost will make me cry, so I'll end up crying from their energy, but not necessarily connecting with my client, because my job during a reading is to connect to the ghost on the other side, to bring forward that information so that the person can hear what their dad or mom or aunt or uncle or grandparent information came through for them. So I do feel connecting to the ghost. I just don't feel it to the full extent as the ghost did, kind of energy. And so I've kind of been through a lot of creepy, kind of weird deaths. But death is never something that's really bothered me in a lot of ways, probably because I've felt so many of them. I realize that it's not something to be afraid of or scared or anything else. It just is something that happens. It's kind of like everybody's going to pass on earth someday. Someday everybody's going to pass, and that's just part of life. To me, it's like the important part is the middle part. What are you doing right now to make your loved ones know that you love them? What are you doing to kind of honor your family and your people around you? That's kind of the cool part. That's the fun part of all of this. We get to be around our family and friends that we chose to be with. Harmony. I will tell you that most ghosts are in harmony. Maybe not when they first pass, but they will get there quickly, and they will kind of tell you what, like, perspective from their life, and kind of like, now I realize how I was wrong. Now I realize that I shouldn't have done that, or I was out of balance, or whatever it is. That's kind of the fun part. Most ghosts are coming through and are very playful. That playful side of them really doesn't go away on the other side. A lot of them will play jokes on me, nothing too scary or anything else. Sometimes they will tell me jokes, sometimes a joke that they really loved in life, and so that's kind of the fun part, is that I get to kind of get to know them in a different way. Emerging. Their energy from when they first pass to when I can channel with them can be different for each ghost. But one of the interesting parts is that they want their energy to kind of keep growing and emerging and getting stronger. And so the longer they're over there, the easier it is to communicate with them, the easier it is to kind of get their messages from the other side. This one's all about balance. So many of them realize, like I said, they were out of balance in their life, or how they treated one person compared to another one. I see that a lot with parents going like, oh, realize like how well I treated one child and kind of really didn't give the other child the time of day or whatever it is, or treat them the same way. And a lot of times they'll come in with a lot of apologies, or how do I fix this, or how do I change that? So that's kind of just an interesting energy for ghosts in general. I thank you so much for joining me today, and I know that we'll be talking again soon.